Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem, performed this afternoon by Peter Griffin and his dirt bike.
Hey, this is Ryan Villapoto, and you're listening to DMXS Radio.
All right, everyone, welcome back to DMXS Radio. Appreciate you guys tuning back in as always. Make sure you check out our Faulkner, Reed, and Blair podcast we just dropped. I want to thank our sponsors. Make this really quick. Racer X, MX Sports, W Wheels, W Lab, the new custom t-shirt printing division there at WLab.com. OGO Concept, 2 Rowers of Christ, of course, the great folks at Dunlop Tires, the best tires in the business, including the new Geomax factory spec. Check them out at Ride Dunlop. And now it's time for the man, the myth, the legend himself, Jeffrey Emig, Jeffro, Fro. Welcome back.
Well, it is great to be back. It feels like it's been a while, and I'm so stoked that you have all those amazing sponsors because now you can pay the invoice. I've got like 30 years of invoices on my desk.
I know, and you're such a business guy too. I know you're keeping tabs. You're either going to collect one day big time, or you're going to let this slide. Hopefully, let this slide forever.
So I charge by the hour, and we keep going long. So,
well, you've been on the show. I met you. I was thinking about. I talked to my wife about this. I met you at 2000 U.S. Open in at the MGM. That was the first time I ever met you personally. And about a year or two later, you were on the show. So we've known you for damn near a long time. It is a long time.
Oh yeah, we're staring 30 years in the face.
Yeah, well, welcome back, Fro. I mean, here's what's funny. My wife asked, this is the funniest thing. This is the first question from her. Who else in your does anybody in your family call you Fro? Like, is it just moto people? Like,
no.
Okay.
Nobody. Jessica, my fiance, usually calls me Jeffrey because I'm in trouble. Usually I've done something or didn't do something that I was supposed to do or didn't do. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
No, most of my friends and everybody call me Pro. Like I don't think many people call me Jeff.
Okay.
Yeah. So
it would just be weird if like an uncle or your mom, somebody said Fro, well, Merry Christmas, Fro, or just I'm kind of glad that they've kept that separate because it wasn't like, were you always pumped for that name? I know that Denny gave you that name a long time ago, Jeffro, but were you pumped on that? Did you not like it? Did you always embrace it?
No, it just you don't pick your nickname; it chooses you.
Sure.
So you're in your young 20s, mid 20s, and everyone gets a nickname for something really cool they did or something really stupid they did. And you got some big guy that's a friend of yours, and everyone calls him Tiny,
right?
Or like Jessica's only 5'1", and her friends nickname her Big Jess.
So.
something ironic.
I'm glad it sucked because that's all I've ever known you as. That's all I call you. Did you enjoy the MXDN? I know it wasn't. I'm going to call it the Des Nations. I'm an announcer, so I don't have to do it politically correct. But did you enjoy your time, even though that we lost or didn't? We didn't win. I shouldn't say we obviously got a podium, but did you still enjoy it?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I had to leave the track at 1 p.m. on Sunday. I had a flight back to California because at 5 o'clock on Monday morning, I had to start one of these Alive Worldwide motorcycle tours. So I watched the races from, my rental car or the airport, just basically watched it on my phone, which, to be fair, on Saturday, I was in the Monster Energy VIP area watching all the qualifying races on the monitor.
Right.
And then Sunday, I was in the Diamond VIP for a little bit, watching whatever was happening on the monitor. So, I think after so many years of doing broadcast, it's like I just prefer that, unless I was with my buddies out on the fence drinking beer,
sure.
Watching the, riders come by every 2.5 minutes, which can be a good time. Don't get me wrong. I'm not immune to it. But I just prefer to watch it on the monitor and to be able to see all of the things that are happening around the track.
Okay, well that kind of makes sense. That's all you do. You stare down at a monitor the whole time that you're announcing. You're not allowed to look out because that's not the fan's perspective. So that makes a lot of sense. I know you guys did the Jimmy McGrath whole shot challenge thing, and if they gave out
whole shot king, yeah.
But if they gave out trophies for gear. I still call them gear, not kits, but your jersey, dude, would have won the Motocross Des Nations 2025. That was the
Miller Lite.
Yes. Yeah. Are you kidding me? How did that come up? Yes.
The Miller High Life. Well, that's We Big Moto.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. So I had a Marlboro kit that actually matched my bike because I did. When we came out with the F1, the Formula One 1974, which is a Marlboro kit based off of the Formula One, lockup that James Hunt would have won the world championship with in 1974.
How cool
so
is
that?
That
was kind of the inspiration for it.
Yeah.
And then after being there Friday night, I'm like, this is a very Miller Lite crowd. Like I need to bust out the Miller High Life kit because I brought 2 kids. So yeah, it's fun. We have a good time with it. We don't take it too seriously, because like that's kind of my whole purpose of being with WeBig is kind of like sort of what the norm is and what's expected for a professional racer, and everything's serious and everything's like, just sort of artistic and sponsor driven, and we just have a lot of fun with all the the kits like Miller and Coors Light and whatnot.
You would sell out if you ever did a gear with just a weed leaf on it. It would sell in California. Would sell out overnight.
Yeah, but it's all legal everywhere. It's not even like taboo. It's not even like
That's what sucks is you were in the wrong generation.
I was a rebel back in the 90s. Now it's like legal.
Yeah, you wouldn't even lost your ride nowadays. They've been like, yeah, whatever. Just get out there, practices in 5 minutes, go.
Hey, what's ironic? I actually went down to Kawasaki today for the first time in like forever.
Wow!
And I had lunch with Bruce Sternstrom.
Oh my God, this is amazing.
Who's the head of racing. And he was the team manager in '99 for the motocross team. And there is a jersey on the wall. It starts with like Weinert and Ward, and it goes on down the line. Myself, Carmichael, Stewart, Villapoto, Tomac, I think. And the jersey was from 1999. It was a number 11 jersey that they had framed. And I said, where did you get the jersey? I said, what the irony is? That was the jersey from the year that you fired me. And he starts laughing. He goes, I think it was in the semi after we cut you, and that's where we got the jersey. It was left over.
My dude, that is the best story ever. So you walk in, hey, at least they didn't skip you. Can you imagine if you walked in and your jersey wasn't on the wall? That would have sucked.
Yeah, Kawasaki's done their race shop and stuff. I was catching up with Bruce this week, and we were chatting. He's like, "Hey, let's go to lunch. Come down." And what's really impressive is in the main part of the race shop, they've got all the number one plates from Winter 5 Supercross, 250 Supercross, motocross, whatever. They've got like not a picture, but like I don't know. They're not the actual plates. It's like these big logos of what the number one plate looks like. And it goes around like the entire shop, and it's impressive to look and see, what the history of Kawasaki's motocross race team has been,
Yes.
And there was a time period, I think he said it was from 94 to 2004 or maybe even further, that Kawasaki had won at least one of the championships, which is rare, and so it's pretty cool. And it's, as an ex-champion and ex-rider for the race team, yes, there is a part of you that when, you've got your number one plates on the wall with all these other great champions and all that, it feels nice to be a part of the racing history.
Yeah. And I'm glad. I think that Bruce always, I think you said this before, that he always admired, he might say that he admired that you took complete responsibility for that. And you didn't, it wasn't like that you put the blame on the team. I mean, I think that he's always admired that. And I'm glad you guys are still talking, and it's all way in the past.
Well, shit. I mean, a year later, my race team transitioned back to Kawasaki.
Sure.
When I had the 250 team, call it like a B team, if you will.
Yeah.
With Michael Byrne and
the Edge
Casey
team.
Johnson.
The Edge team. Yeah.
So just a real, shit thing that our sponsor went out, and they were, $600,000-$700,000 behind in payments at that time, and and then you go, okay, well, I'm not going to spend my own money to go racing. I've already made it racing,
right? Type
of thing, and but I was really looking forward to that chapter of my career of being able to run a race team and take what I had built and just move off of the bike into the ownership and leadership position. And we had a great team built and had a lot of really good people. But one of the things that you have to go racing is somebody's going to be paying for it.
Didn't that tech bubble? Didn't the tech bubble?
You can't get around that.
Yeah, but didn't the tech bubble? Wasn't that why you guys they backed out or whatever? I forgot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, exactly.
That's what it was. Okay. Hey, well, how was the whole shot challenge? I mean, I'm an East Coast guy. I'm a Wyndham, a Lusk, Shea Bentley, Matt Walker. I was a whatever. And I was always pulling for you against McGrath because he was the California showboy. So I was always, pulling for you. And even in this whole shot challenge at the Motocross Des Nations, I was pulling for you to beat McGrath even in that, 100 feet.
I was listening to one of your shows and you had McGrath on, and you were saying the exact.
Oh, you're so full of shit. You
were like,
so
screw Emig, McGrath. You've always been my favorite.
No, I have always.
Fluke.
It was actually uncomfortable one time we had him on the show, and I actually said that to him. Like, dude, I wasn't a fan. Your little, gay things on your helmet. No, I was all about East Coast.
He's like, well, gotta go. No, I'm kidding. We had a good time. It was really cool just to get everybody together, and there was quite the range in sort of generations, if you will.
Yeah,
and lots of really good camaraderie. Now, Cardo Systems wired up all of our helmets, and we could talk to each other.
Okay.
And what they were going to do, what the plan was that they were going to patch us into the PA system. All of our Cardos.
Right.
So the fans were going to listen to us talk to each other. Instead, Bidos was on the mic, and he was kind of but then he was announcing the event. But when we were doing warm up, we were all talking to each other through, with our actual helmets on. And so it was pretty cool that way. Something with the interface, they couldn't, the PA system guys couldn't make it happen. So something failed there, but it was really cool that Cardo had all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Wired up.
Yeah. You know what it was is no system could overpower Bidos's voice. It's like, no, we don't have enough amplitude. No. We can't do it. It's impossible. Even Elon Musk couldn't get something to overpower Bidos's voice on the microphone.
Yeah, but it was cool. I mean, Jerry and I raced first round. Stanton and Bradshaw.
Amazing.
Ricky and Reed.
Yep.
You had Villapoto and Tedesco. Who else am I leaving out here? I'm leaving somebody else out. I thought there was 9 of us.
Villapoto, Tedesco. Yeah. But anyway, so was there any shit talking before and after?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it was just super fun, but it's crazy how all of a sudden it's like every one of us showed up with our forks raised into clamps, like having the bike set up because there was no hole shot devices. Every one of us showed up with like a specific setup. My only problem is that I raced a 350, and everybody else was on 450. And honestly, I felt like in the first round I faced McGrath, and I felt like out of the gate, halfway down, which would be 100 feet, I felt solid. And he's like, dude. Like
he's clicking gears.
It was close, and then he clicked the fourth gear and like pulled ahead by like a foot.
It was close.
And especially the second one. The second one, I was like, I got him. And I mean, the last 10 feet, it was just like raw. Right.
Well,
just caught me. Yeah. So
I'm going to brag on you a little bit. Every motor, designations that comes up, these stats are insane. And you're one of the only few riders who've ever done 6 in a row. And you have between 92, you rode a 125, a 250 and a 500, 3 Team USA wins, individual overall 4 times, including the 500 class. You were making America great before making America great was a thing.
Yeah, I wasn't even wearing a red hat.
I know. I mean, you weren't even. It wasn't even a thing. But dude, you're. Where does that stand with all of your motor? I know you're known as a McGrath Slayer and your motocross championships and all that stuff. But where does this stand in your lineage of your career when you look back on that? That right then in itself is Hall of Fame worthy.
Well, it makes you proud to sort of do your part, and I think that. There was a time period where, there in the early 2000s where the team didn't even go and things got real squirrely with money and all of these sort of things. It seems like the American rider, racer, the guys that have the option to be on the team or not, that they're really embracing it. But it's tough right now because it's not USA versus the world, or even AMA versus FIM, because now you've got, you have the 2 Lawrence brothers.
Yeah,
you got Hunter and Jed.
Yeah,
right. And Kyle Webster, God bless him, down in both first turns, and he rode with that hurdle in front of him. He performed absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Now, also knowing, like, I was thinking about the dynamics if you're Webster, right? Everybody's like, he's not quite at the level of Hunter and Jed or this or that, but he has performed outstanding and been able to help Australia win twice. So now it's like USA versus Australia versus the rest of the world.
Sure. Yeah. Good point.
So there was always sort of this AMA FIM rider, right? Or like who's the best. And then there was a time where, America was just dominating the shit out of Motocross of Nations.
Yeah.
We won 13 in a row, and we were just, and then we had another good stint there where might have won 5 in a row or something, maybe, I think. And, but it's just so uber competitive. And I think that one of the differences now too, is the fact that we're only riding 2 different size machines, right? 2 different displacements.
Right.
And those 2 are probably closer than what a 125 and a 250 and or a 250 and a 500, right? Mm-hmm. The 125 and the 500
miles apart
were so drastically different. And there were times that, there's been some rare rides by the 125 riders that were just outstanding, right? Johnny O in 86 at Maggiora in Italy. But for the most part, it's like, there's no way that a 125 rider was going to win one of those races. That's now you call it the MX2 class. Villapoto and some guys have had some outstanding rides. It's pretty rare though, still, that the 250 rider is really going to perform that well. And I think, depending on how the start is groomed, makes a big difference, right? If it's deep and loamy, you're just not gonna get a great start if you're riding a 250. And so if you're that rider, the whole dynamics of the race are different because, I know riding Motocross of Nations in my day, I didn't plan on whole shot in any races. And me, I was pretty good at starts.
Sure.
I won. I most of the races that I ran, I rode from the front in some, at the front of the pack. And in those races, it's like you just got to put your head down, and you get a good start on a 125. You might have been 20th or 15th or something. So it's a tough race that way, mixing the two size machines. But then there's just so much pressure on everybody to not make any mistakes. And I did a different show. I was on with Pingree and Langston, and we were talking about the American team, and how we thought RJ Hampshire was a great choice for the team because the 450 had really seemed to settle him down.
So good this summer, yeah.
He rode great this summer, and he just made 2 or 3 too many mistakes. I think he might have went down 4 times in the motos total, something like that. And it's like 1 is enough.
Yeah.
If you're Kyle Webster, you go down the first turn. If you only go down once, you're fine. But you go down multiple times, then that's really going to hurt the team. And I didn't see exactly what happened to Justin Cooper, but I think he hit one of the Conan brothers, right? The first moto, like on the last lap. And that certainly doesn't help. You're just trying to get some solid, like a top 10 on a 250 is a solid ride. Just one of those should do the trick, and let the Open and the MX1 rider do what they got to do. But just wasn't their year to win it.
How was the pressure in your heyday? Because the USA had won, like you said, 13 in a row, so there was a pressure. It was yours guys to lose. How was it different? Lining up to that to Anaheim or Binghamton or something like that as a one race when you're a team race. Like how is that different when is it more pressure? Is it less pressure?
Oh yeah. Well, because you're not just riding for yourself, and if you make a mistake, you're like, well, if it's on me, I'll go home. But you're riding for your teammates, for all of the other members of Team USA, the extended members, and you're riding for your organization. You're riding for the pride of your country and the red, white, and blue, and it's completely different. And for me, I just seem to,
embrace it,
accept that, so embrace that pressure. And I always really look forward to it. You know? But like in 96 when we won, I don't think I felt any pressure at all. You want pressure? I just won the 250 Pro Motocross Championship, having to go against McGrath head to head the final race. Like after that, the rest was baby shit, That was nothing compared to Steel City 96.
Right.
That's and I was in such a good place on the motorcycle. And the 500 class, I'm not going to say that it was easy, but if I remember correctly, Smets or somebody went down in the first turn in one of the races. And I just remember that particular race being really stress-free and pretty easy.
Yeah, that is awesome. When you only had one, I think that Brett Smith said you only had one score ever thrown out in all of your in 6 years. That's insane. I mean, when you talk about pressure and not going down and maintaining, knowing that every point matters, that record in and of itself is insane.
Well, I finished first or second in my class, so my score was a first or second, how we scored it then. Every moto except the final one. The final moto, we're in Nimes, Belgium, and it was Steve Lamson, John Dowd, and myself.
Dowdy, yeah. And
we got to the. I felt like I should have won both my races pretty easy. And Kurt Nickel of England was always my kryptonite at that race. He always performed really well there, and they flooded the shit out of the track. We get there Sunday morning, and it was like it had rained. And that was most likely done just to try to throw us off, throw off the Americans, if you will. And he got me the first moto. If I remember correctly, I was leading, and he passed me, and so I was pissed off about that. And then the second race goes out. I must have been racing the Open that day because I was number 3. Yeah,
Third
and
moto.
so Dowd would rode the 250. And I would have rode the Open class. So I rode the first and last moto. And I remember I was so pissed off because they had a bad second moto. And it's like, we're out of it. Like, this isn't going to happen. Right. And so I'm on the starting line and I'm telling J-Bone, I said, I'm going to show these motherfuckers what's up.
Hell
type of deal. And I go out and get the whole shot. And for like 10, 15 minutes, I just I don't think I breathed. I was just like head down, just charging as hard as I could. And then I started to pump up, which, why am I getting arm pump? I could never get arm pump, right?
Yeah.
And it started to hit me, and I started thinking, like, shit, we're not going to win it. And my head goes away, and I faded to 11th, and I never fell.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah. Dowd even passed me, and it was like, he's looking at me like, something wrong?
You got a mechanical? What's going on, dude?
Yeah, it just kind of hit me right then.
So when guys turn down, or even OEMs lately aren't going, could you even conceive of that back in your day of riders turning down the opportunity to represent their country, and then even OEMs saying they don't want their riders to go or whatever?
Well, in my day, no, I would have never done that. But that riders in '92, where you had Kudrowski, Bradshaw, Stanton, were the clear A team, and they didn't want to go. And so myself, LaRocco, and I'm just mind blanking right now. Shit, help me out. Who was riding 500 that year? 500 Honda from Europe. Why? I just mind blanked. Billy Lyles.
Billy. God Almighty.
Yeah. So Billy was riding the World Championship, and he was in great form. Mike and I were still battling for the 125 title. We still had 2 more nationals left here after Nations even. And we were like ready to go. Yeah. We were thrilled and honored to be named to the team. And we went over with the right attitude, and we had the right amount of grit. And we got it done
the famous B team. Yeah.
That would have been the 12th year in a row. Yeah.
So when you see riders now, and let's face it, with the super motocross and the schedule, and it's a very, very, very long year. Are you in favor of skipping, going every other year with the destinations, or are you a hardcore every year?
I heard that somebody pitched that thought. I think I seen an Instagram post of somebody talking about that.
Yeah.
And I thought it's an interesting concept for sure. As much money as Infront makes off the event,
it'll never happen. Yeah.
It'll never go to every other year.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, because with the schedule and silly season in such a short time to get ready for a Supercross, and the outdoors just ends, and you got the international races. It is a very, very, very tight schedule. So riders back in the day, as we say, very rarely would they turn it down, but nowadays it's almost like, damn, dude, I understand they need a break.
Yeah. And with the American riders putting in was it 17, 11? So it's 30, 31 races here.
Mm-hmm.
And then you add on another couple weeks of training for the Motocross of Nations. Other riders that might have had some time off, great, but then the World Supercross Championship is in play.
Yeah.
The other money races like Bercy, sure.
Well, DeCoster stepped away after forever as a team manager. Do you like how the AMA handles things? Do you think we need a rotating manager? Would you like to see things shaken up with how things are chosen? If you were team manager, how would you do things as opposed to maybe improving what we're doing now?
Ooh, I don't know if there's something different. I'm not super attached to what's happening with the team. But just in general, I don't think that it's rocket science. You put out the 3 healthiest guys, you get the teams that are, funded well enough and have the desire to be there. I mean, more so than anything, it's just the desire to be there, the willingness to want to go and perform at that level. You can't look at it like another race on the schedule, because it's not. It's just the whole structure of the event and the being in a team setting, which we are never in, things like that. It really, you got to want to be there, and you got to be ready to give your best effort. And it certainly. No knock on Justin Cooper or RJ Hampshire, but if you're going to have Chase Sexton and Hayden Deegan,
yep.
It would have been a much different race. Hayden Deegan's the type of guy that really rises to the occasion, and Chase Sexton is such a professional. I mean, he has his issues at times where he falls down. But, when you just look at it, if you were just, playing pickup basketball, if you're playing pickup Motocross of Nations,
That's right.
You're going to choose Sexton, Sexton ahead of RJ, and you're going to choose Deegan, ahead of Justin Cooper being on a 250. And unfortunately those guys weren't ready to go. And so then you got to go, okay, next in line,
Dude, it's Super Motocross. We watched our whole Designations team just fall apart in the last round. It's like we almost made it healthy, like literally.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that specifically for Hayden Deegan, I think you're going to, hopefully this is one of those lessons that you tend to learn in life. He really disrupted a lot of things by his riding and the choices he was making at the final FMX event, because of repercussions from that, which were, he missed an opportunity that would have been much greater than, trying to go out and ride like he did and mess with Joe and do all that, cause he probably lost some fans out of that. And there's probably fans that were attending Motocross of Nations that didn't get a chance to see him.
Sure.
So I think it was probably a big miss for him. And, I mean, look, you and I have both done plenty of stupid things. And, he's probably going to chalk this one up like, probably wasn't the best.
When you were watching that race
live. The kid's like 20 years old, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's
19 or something, maybe.
He's a baby.
Yeah.
So when you were watching that race, were you like me, like, what are you doing? Just like snap out of this. Whatever your strategy was is not working. Like you could just see it building to that moment.
Well, I was like, one time you take one shot at him and that doesn't work, then just go on and win the race.
Fair play. Yeah.
Be the hero, go win the race, you lose the war, whatever. The second, when you started going, okay, this isn't just one thing. Like I thought he should have been black flagged.
Wow.
Like right there. I wish whoever was the AMA official at the time that would have made that call, I wish that they would have had that they would have been looking out for that, because I guess he was already on probation, right? For,
with his teammate,
for some rough riding.
Yeah.
And, I think that would have been, a real statement. But I don't think that it's like Deegan's the one guy that if you black flag him, there's just going to be just tons of repercussions.
Yeah,
but when you're riding like that, consistently like that, I mean, we watched it for half the race,
sure.
Right? Maybe it's like, yeah, you need to black flag him. There's got to be a rule in the book about that type of riding.
You were cocky.
It just was very unsportsmanlike and but like I said, hopefully he looks back on that and says, man, yeah, I kind of see what these old guys are talking about. I could have made some better choices. And, it was just a lose in the end for him anyway,
Well, you were a cocky rider. All the top guys are. You have to have confidence and have a little bit of cock in your walk.
Sure.
But so what are your thoughts?
Oh, you have to have arrogance,
yes,
even. Like it's confidence, but it's also arrogance. And that's part of like, I'm going to talk shit, I'm going to back it up type of thing,
It's like you going into Steel City with McGrath, that little spat. You were basically saying, we'll see whose favorite track it is. At the end of the weekend. I mean, it's almost like you have to go above and beyond even what your own comfort level is of your own confidence, just to pump yourself up.
Yeah, but that was respectful. That was like competitive.
That's just
some of the stuff that you've seen from that SMX race was kind of like.
Are you a fan of Deegan? Are you a fan of his? Do you pull for him?
Well, I mean, it's hard not to admire his riding at times. Like it's pretty exceptional, and I don't think that there's any part of his riding that most of us don't think will translate to the big bikes.
Sure.
Even though that's yet to be seen. We've seen a lot of grade 250 riders that have not made the transition for whatever reason, but I think he's got the right amount of confidence in himself, and that's probably the most impressive thing, and it was surprising some of the mistakes he made earlier in the season in Supercross and whatnot, but you do have to, we expect a young rider of that age to just be perfect and know everything and not make any mistakes.
Yeah.
And you really have to put the maturity level and the age into play.
Yeah.
And go, oh, what was I like at that age? Right? Like, yeah, it's okay.
What's your gut tell you how he's... I'm sorry, finish. I'm sorry.
No, after you.
So what's your gut tell you on a 450? Is he going to challenge Jet right away? Is it going to be one of those he falls like Ricky's when he moved up to a 250 and have 5 crashes and 5 races, or how's he going to do moving up?
Well, if I was his coach, there are some things that I would want to work on as he moves to the bigger bike. So you can get away with some things on the little bike that you won't be able to on the big bike. And I got to be honest with you, just the more that I watch Hunter and Jet, I just admire how they do it, like their type of riding. And I think it's going to be really hard to beat. So I would say, I'm a big technique person, body positioning, all this. And I would say the way that both of the Lawrence brothers ride is the way that you need to do it in the near future.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
And Hayden he's a strong kid. And he muscles the bike around a lot. I mean, he certainly has 9 lives, if you will. I mean, some of his crashes, he's had on a 250 and not been injured big.
Yeah.
You're like, man, that's so he's gotten away with that stuff. And I guess only time will tell is if some of those things, if he can get away with it on a 450, because there's a hell of a lot more horsepower and the bike's heavier, and it's just a whole new game, right? So,
I've covered this sport during, you and then RC and, Wyndham and James and Reed. And so I was so protective of when people compare Jet to Ricky or James or whatever. But I'm telling you that, he has that. He is the it factor. He is the future. So when you look at Jet, is he this guy that we're going to be talking about in 10, 15 years as maybe the GOAT?
Well, I think so, but I always I like to. I know Jet's done the majority of the winning when it comes to Hunter and Jet, but I think that you're going to see Hunter get in there and lock some major championships down.
Oh wow! Okay,
I really think that he has that potential. Jet, obviously, he does some things on the bike that, man, he makes it look pretty easy, and like just really, like when I watch him ride, I'm watching all the little intricacies that maybe only a rider can notice, and you're like, that was pretty good. Like, and so as he's had like the knee injury and little bits and bobs. He rides in a way that, I mean, he's the best rider in the world. He makes it look pretty easy. He makes it look pretty safe. Right?
Smooth. Just
so
smooth.
Longevity, yes. Yeah. So how long can he stay motivated? How long will, I mean, the dude's making a shit ton of money after 5 Supercross championships. Is he going to say my cup's full and my bank account's fuller and I'm done? I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Rivalries are so important in sport, all sports, and you had one of the best ever with McGrath and stuff. But do you think that Jet needs a rivalry like that to reach his max potential? I mean, because I hate to see him win at 80%. That just drives me crazy. I need to see him pushed, and I want that rivalry. I want to see Jet uncomfortable and riding over 80% to win a race.
Yeah, I think the biggest competition for Jet is going to be his brother. Okay. Now, Sexton's going to move bikes next year. You're going to have Deegan in the summertime jumping up to a 450. Yep. Yet to see if see how Tomac decides to perform in the rest of his career. It's funny saying like the twilight of his career.
32.
But he's certainly capable of it. But the father time waits for no man.
That's it.
And so can Tomac get in there and win a race here and there, stay consistent, and be a valid challenger? I mean, it seems like Cooper Webb really focuses most of his year on racing Supercross, and he seems to have a real knack for that. I mean, with 3 titles, he certainly has put himself in a different category than most. But will he catch fire again and find himself in a good place and be a challenger? It's probably one of those things that Jet's biggest rival is himself, and if he can continue to find new motivation each year and a new reason to go out and perform at the level that he does with like the same hunger and desire and all of those sort of things.
Yeah.
Or is he truly, is his goal to match McGrath and Carmichael's records, right? He had 10 motocross championships. McGrath had 7 Supercross championships. That's probably the mentality
That's his carrot.
That he's in. Sorry?
That's his carrot. That's what he's chasing. Because if you look at it, but when you said that he might, walk away, that to me is probably the likeliest. When you say he's his greatest competition, him being, because he went to the Met Gala. He's one of these guys that just has a different level of interest outside of the sport. Can you imagine Bob Hanna at the Met Gala?
Absolutely not.
I know.
Buckwheat at the Met? No.
What all you pussies taking the pictures of? Get out of here. I gotta go. But so I just think that might be the determining factor, because he's already kind of looks sometimes bored because he's so good and he's winning easily. That might be, but I still want him challenged. I still want, if it's Deegan, if it's Hunter, if it's Tomac or KTM, if it's Sexton, somebody needs to push him every single race. So I want to see the McGrath, Emig and Carmichael, Stewart, Reed. I want to see that.
Yeah. Look at like a guy like Jean-Michel Bell. Kicked ass in Europe, came over here, kicked some ass, and he was like, I'm going to go race some MotoGP.
I'm out.
Like, what? Yeah. Like who does that, And so, maybe, who knows? Maybe 5 years from now, Jet's like, you know what? I'm going to try MotoGP, or I'm going to go race, sports car, Formula One,
F1,
whatever these new opportunities that are going to present themselves to him. And it's all about, which none of us really know. I would assume the inner circle has a good idea of it, but he may get 5 years down the line and be like, yeah, my cup's full with this. I want to go do something else in life.
Yeah.
He's certainly setting himself up financially to where those would be things like that would be options.
Mm-hmm.
And you just never know, because every rider is different. There's not like a number that, okay, you get to this number. Okay. Now you're done. You're going to check out.
Yep.
It's like Ricky Carmichael was 27 when he retired.
Insane.
27. Right. Jeff Stanton was 26 possibly. Right. Where they just got to the point where I can't take this workload any longer than this. This is it. I'm at my limit.
Yep.
So we don't know what that is. I mean, I remember being on a plane with McGrath back in the early 90s, and he was like, yeah, I think I only want to race a couple more years. Well, then, he came back and won 3 Supercross titles after winning 4.
Ugh.
And, raced another year or 2 after that, so, and then even came back after retirement, came back and rode a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to say. The trend is right now is that guys like you could kind of go Ricky Dungey, Villapoto.
Yep.
It's like they kind of reach that limit, and it's like, man, I don't want to risk it, and I don't want to do this work this hard and be this dedicated anymore. And that seems to be maybe the
trend,
the biggest obstacle in one's longevity.
Right.
And riders that still feel like they've left something out there and they're still digging, their cup isn't full. You got your Reeds, your Wyndhams, Loracos. They go late because they're not satisfied. At the rate that Jet Lawrence has been winning, he could reach that satisfaction level and the cup could be full, sooner than later. But then again, we don't know. We're not him.
Mm-hmm.
He may be like, you know what? I'm getting to 7 and 10. That's my number. That's when I stop.
That's it.
And, he's off to a good start. And the fact that he makes it look so easy, and unless Sexton really gets his shit together and really starts to perform on a more consistent level,
mm-hmm.
and Deegan makes a good transition to the 450, it's like I just don't see where that's going to come from, the actual challengers for that. So he could rack those up,
That's true. Hey, I saw on Instagram. I just want to add my condolences that you lost your father. That's, as we get older, and you and I have older kids, that our parents and what they taught us and what we're passing on to the next generation is more important. I just had Reedy on, and we went probably 30 minutes on parental stuff. And I know how important that is. So, and our condolences to that.
I appreciate it. Yeah, well, Big Gurr, he was doing great. It was definitely a surprise. He had a health issue last fall. Ended up having to have a toe amputated, like diabetes.
Diabetes, yeah.
And it knocked him back a little bit, but he was getting stronger and healthier. Still working at the shop, making parts, riding his motorcycle every day, just being Papa to my sister's boys, who he was pretty close with. We didn't see him a lot here out in California, unfortunately, but just super healthy. He's seen my sister Tuesday morning. I called him. I was out on the Alive Worldwide tour, and I talked to him around lunchtime, and I'm glad that he called when he did, because it was like I wasn't on the bike, right? Uh-huh. So I was able to take his call and chat with him, and we had a good chat and just kind of catching up. And what's weird, he called me every day for like the last 4 days before that.
Oh, wow.
And it was kind of like, oh, Dad's calling again, Not that it was like bad. It was great, and like, hey, what's he doing? It just seemed like he was calling. Like I talked to him probably like it more in the last week than any other week in in since I can remember.
Yeah.
You know, so talking about motocross and nations and these sort of things, and I talked to him in the afternoon, and he went for a ride and came back and was putting all this stuff up, and the cameras in the shop just showed that he had a cardiac event, and that was that.
Well, if that's how we all go, then that would be a good day. I mean, he was what, 80? You said 80 or
81? Yeah, getting ready to be 82, and still working every day, riding every day.
Wow.
Just lost a step from that other health issue, but was super healthy, and we talked to him last year about, hey, maybe it's time to downsize the shop and everything. Right, got tons of equipment and his whole life, with 6,500 square foot building. And he's like, well, what am I going to do? If I'm not doing this, what am I going to do with my life? It's like, okay, well, it's your life. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, it's like, it sure would be easier if we started to sort of liquidate all this stuff and kind of downsize some stuff as you get a little older. And he's like, nah, I need all my stuff,
Yeah. That's
all they
know.
Old guys are. I need my stuff.
Yeah. That's all they know. That's a neat generation. That's all they know is hard work and surviving and getting up every morning with purpose. That's that generation. It's an amazing. That's why they called that the greatest generation in our country, of our country's history.
Yeah, for sure, right? Like, he worked the last day that he was alive.
Yeah,
and so in the CNC business, he's a machinist and a fabricator. And he accredits a lot of his health, especially with his mind, to being busy. He's doing math every day. He's constantly working on equations. He liked to shoot long guns and stuff, like long range stuff. So there was a lot of math and calculations and stuff involved in that. So he's constantly sharpening the sword, being his brain. So he was just constantly, constantly just keeping young and keeping fit, type of thing. So
it was the coolest thing. I had Emig triple clamps on my bike, on my YZ, forever ago, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Like, just because it was your name on there. I know it was just a cool thing.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Emig Racing triple clamps were on Ricky Carmichael's first championship bike.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Pro circuit bike. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he could. The great thing about Dad is he literally could make anything. He has this Jeep body rock crawler, but the thing is, like, he made like all the suspension parts. He just CNC'd them all himself. Like, he didn't go to like Off-Road Warehouse and buy some stuff.
Right.
He's like, oh, yeah, I'm just gonna make this, and you're like, the thing's like a works bike.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like, it's crazy how many billet parts he built for it that were just one-offs.
Handmade, yeah. Just handmade.
Oh, yeah. And he just had that. I mean, he could just fabricate anything. And my sister and I were walking through the shop Thursday when I got back there, and I was just like just looking at all of the machines and stuff that I grew up using and things that he needed for what he did. And it's like, I mean, there's a million tools. There's a million, just anything you need to make stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he had the tools and the ability to do it.
And he knew where exactly every tool was in his whole shop. He could put his hand on it blindfolded, I'm sure.
Oh, none of the rest of us know where it's at, right? But we did. He's got this huge toolbox, and we were digging through it. And it's like, do you need this many sockets? Like, seriously. And my sister and I, and so we were obviously grieving and laughing and being sad and laughing and telling stories to each other. And we opened up this drawer, and I think I counted it. There were 28 tape measures.
Yeah.
It's like, why the hell does anyone need 28 tape measures?
He did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Flashlights? You need a flashlight? Because we don't have just one.
Yeah.
We literally have like 50 flashlights around. It's like, where's the flashlight? It's like, which one?
Right.
What do you need it for? What's the use? Because we have different options,
Well, I am so glad because when you have especially with a son, when you have a relationship with your dad, it's complicated because there's once the testosterone drops in you, then you're your own man, and then you have to then you kind of butt heads with your dad, and you talk to Chad Reed and other people that kind of have these arduous relationships with their parents growing up, and Chad never even fixed that with his dad, which was sad, and it makes my heart so happy to hear that you talked to your dad so much that week before, and you walked through the shop with your sister. And you had these memories. That makes me happy because I didn't want to hear that, I didn't talk to him for 3 years before he died. And I wish I would have said I loved you and, all that stuff. I'm glad it was a happy ending.
Yeah, we definitely were in a great place as a father and son.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to come back for his birthday on the 18th, things like that. But it's also been great. I mean, I've just had hundreds of people reach out to me through social media or just text me directly. And a lot of the comments on social media are like, hey, your dad built my bike this year. That was the fastest bike I ever rode. Or, oh man, he had this whole other life around the motorcycling business of people that I didn't know, but he came in contact with.
Right.
And everybody from whether it's like people like high up in our industry or fans are like, man, your dad's knowledge on this, that, and the other was just immense.
Right. And
people have really came out of the woodwork and just had great stories to tell. And it's good. It's good to hear,
Well, that makes me happy. And I know you have your own children and their ages and stuff. I saw, your pictures going out and they look like, it's just good to see that, you learned a lot from him and you've passed it on as a parent and, you've got a relationship with your kids. And so it's that eternal circle that this continues to turn.
Yeah. You were mentioning that about like not talking. So my whole childhood growing up, one of my dad's best buddies was this guy, Sammy. And, sometime I'm going to say it was early 2000s, all of a sudden, Sammy was never around. And everybody that knows Sammy, they know I'm talking about Sam Helen. He's like the greatest guy.
Yeah.
He's just one of the best dudes ever. And I'm flying home from Kansas City Friday night, and I searched through and I had Sammy's phone number. And, I'm pretty emotional about everything. And so I decided to call him up. I knew that he had heard the news. And so I'm on the phone with him and we're chatting about this, that, and the other. And I said, Sammy, what happened between you and my dad 20 years ago or whatever it was? I go, what was the deal?
Yeah.
And he tells me the story. He's like, well, we were riding up in St. Joseph and it was getting late and I wanted to go home. And your dad says, no, I'm going to keep riding. And it's like, well, hey, Gary, why don't you just, I don't want to ride back alone. Why don't you go with me? He says, no, I'm going up over here. He goes, and I was pissed off that he wouldn't come back with me. And he was pissed off that I took off. And I go, and you guys never worked it out? He's like, no, we never worked it out.
That was the whole deal?
I'm like, 20 years, dude. He's like, yeah, us old guys, we get stubborn. And
holy shit.
Yeah, pretty wild, right? And like I said, like these two guys they were two peas in a pod, man, since I can remember, probably since I was born. So I guess the lesson is for anybody that's listening, it's like bury that hatchet, say I'm sorry, make the call your loved one.
Yes.
Any of that. Just, it doesn't take much to just send a text or call, hey, just want to let you know I was thinking about you, and that's that. Because that make a big difference. We actually lost a good friend of ours, Donnie Wilson. You might know him. He's the sales guy for Swap Moto Live.
Sure.
He passed away like a month or so ago, and I didn't know that he was sick. And then I hear it through the grapevine, and I'm like, wait, what? And one of our good friends, Matt Liebeld, he's good friends with Jeremy and Victor Sheldon and all the guys and everybody, and he said, yeah, he had ALS. I'm like, I wish would have known. Like, I spent so much time with Donnie Wilson in the 90s and early 2000s, like, like really a strong friendship, and you just don't know. So it's like, you wish you just at least had that moment to be like, hey man,
yeah,
remember the time in Havasu? I really appreciate you saving my ass. Or, when this or that was happening, man, I really appreciate your friendship, So I guess the moral of the conversation right now is don't wait, and, live each day as if it's your last. Like, what would you do today if this was your last day?
Right.
So
yeah, that's one of my sayings. I always tell everybody is if you're not worrying about it on your deathbed, then why worry about it today? I mean all these little things aren't going to. And you talking to Bruce and now you're friends with Jeremy and Reed and Bubba and RC all get along, and Stanton. I mean it's to me it's a happy ending. I mean, because I want that rivalry while you're racing, but my God, it's such a small fraction of your life. I hope that you're known more for what you've done off of a bike than you ever did on a bike.
Yeah. So if you had told me, let's put it in 2002.
Yeah.
You told me in 2002 that in 2025, you're going to be, well, maybe not 2002, let's say 2000.
Yeah.
That you're going to be going to lunch with Bruce Sundstrom, and you're going to be executive producers in a documentary called Moto 90s with Jeremy McGrath. If you had told me that in 1990, I'd said, no, yeah.
You would have said, give me some of that weed.
You're on the green stuff.
Yeah,
you're smoking the wacky weed.
You're giving me that. That's some really good weed you're on to say that. So,
yeah, but, and so we were talking about today at lunch about how, when Magic Johnson contracted HIV and shit hit the fan, him and Larry Bird had this crazy sort of connection and friendship. Did you ever see that documentary?
Yes, that was
wild. You're like, wait, what? Bird and Johnson, two of the most gnarly competitors that were, on a team sport, but it was just mono and mono. And yet they found this sort of common ground and respect for each other in their latter years. So I think that's, Jeremy and I we're in a really good place for our friendship and what we're doing business wise. And I'm really excited for this documentary. I think you've probably heard a little bit about what's happening.
Yeah,
with it,
I can't wait for this. Yeah, tell me.
We're getting close. Moto 90s. Adam Barker is executive producer. He started the project with me. We expanded it out. We said there's a bigger project than just doing the Jeff Emig documentary. And Adam says, look, the biggest story of the 90s was you and Jeremy's rivalry. And so we contacted McGrath and his business partner, Lawrence Lewis. The four of us decided to go in, partners on Moto 90s, and trying to make the most banger film that one could possibly make. Now, the main focus of the film is Jeremy and I's rivalry.
Uh-huh.
And sort of the undertone, there's more stories than just ours, but it'll really tell a complete story of what life was like in the 90s in motocross.
Cannot wait. Are you kidding me? That's my life. That was,
and
as a fan.
All the filmmakers, all the magazine editors, photographers, everybody has opened their catalogs to whatever was available, anything we can find. I know at a certain point we had been asking fans if they had any, home video footage and stuff. That if you have something that was such a unique moment or something really cool, contact us. We'd love to add it to the film. And Jeremy and I were very candid in our interviews about each other. And, we went hard at each other, and then we also gave each other the respect that we deserve. And I know the team that's doing the edit and everything, they're just so stoked on what we have so far, and they're finishing up a few bits and bobs, but it's on its way.
What estimated drop date?
Well, we were shooting for about right now. I think that date keeps getting pushed back. That's probably just the nature of these type of projects. I would say sometime early next year, springtime, something like that would be a good, sort of point. It's like we all want to watch it tomorrow. You know what I mean? But it's just not. That's just not going to happen.
Well,
Photo 90s, dude. I'm telling you, what I have so far, dude, it blows your mind. Like some of the clips and sales sizzles and things like that.
I can't wait.
We still need a little bit of investment money. So if anybody out there is interested, we're still needing to finish up a little bit, but I'm telling you what we have so far. Once you see that, it's like, oh shit, this has got to happen.
Oh, it's got to happen. Well, dude, thank you for 20 plus years, 25 years catching up with DMXS. I know you guys, you do your own stuff, and I always appreciate you getting back to me. And it's been a great journey to watch you throughout this time, and watch you race as a fan, and then get to know you a little bit afterwards, and catch up with you on the show is always a privilege. I love it. So get those invoices together, and I will ignore them as I have for the last 2.5 decades.
Still the same email?
That's it.
Keeps getting kicked back.
Yeah, it's cannot. Yes, return to sender. That's unfortunately no longer found. All right.
That's right. Well, it's always great to be on, and man, I can't believe that you've made it this long.
I know. Hey, thank you for that. And it might not last much longer.
That was meant to be a compliment, I think.
In a way,
somewhere in there.
You old dumbass rednecks! I can't believe you made it this far. So, all right, Fro, we love you.
All right, I'll catch up with you soon. Thanks everybody for listening.
Thanks,
I appreciate
brother.
it.
Peace. Good night, brother. Love you. Bye. All right, there we go. Jeff Fro Emig, the Fro himself. These, as we do these forever and ever, you can tell that I get guys back on that are just friends. I mean, if I'm doing this, we're going to enjoy these, and Fro's one of those guys. Seen it all, done it all, and he was one of the ones that before RC did took McGrath down on the mat. Motocross legend, Supercross champion, Motocross Destinations legend as well. So all of those things. Again, guys, thanks to our sponsors: Racer X, MX Sports, W Wheels, W Lab, the new custom T-shirt printing division. Their saddleback tees are just $10 right now. So it's WLab.com, OGO Concept Tube Rowers, and the great folks at Dunlop Tires, the best tires in the business, including the new GeoMax Factory Spec Tire. Check them out at Ride Dunlop. So DMXS, you know what they say. We're back when we're back. Peace.
This is Justin Brayton, David Iser, and Kevin Keller, a bunch of clowns. You can go ahead and turn your radio off now.
You listen to us because we are motorcycle guys. You might even call us gurus. We are awesome.
I've been called a lot worse than that, Kevin Keller.
Yeah, we're the guys. We know everything. I know everything about you. I know everything about movies. I know everything about the space shuttle launches and the crashes. Everything.
And because you turn to us for motorcycle knowledge, we only tell you about what's the best, Kevin, because our spotless reputation that we've built for 16 years is on the line. That's why.
Yeah, and I would not risk my crappy reputation on just anybody. That's why we are telling you about Dunlop tires. It's what we have on our bikes. I have a fleet of motorcycles, and they all have fresh, crispy Dunlops on them. If the pros have them, you know us amateurs are going to have them. They're good enough for them. They got to think they're good enough for us dorks.
Too good for Dunlops. You're a tire snob. We want nothing to do with you.
Yeah, good luck with that. But not just the pros use them. Everyday riders agree, and they have the testing to back it up. You can't beat the quality of Dunlop motorcycle tires.
Let's wrap this bad boy up, Kevin. Whether you're on the dirt, the road, or the track, you can depend on Dunlop. To learn more about their products, visit DunlopMotorcycleTires.com or your local pro dealer. The amateur guys are working their way up. Go to a Dunlop pro dealer. Check them out. We love them. You will too.
Get ready, America, because WUSA is your #1 source for quality wheel sets in America. WUSA offers all the top brands that you and the world's best racers know and trust, like Reed, Dungy, Millsaps, Tickle, Sealy, Short, and more. All rely and trust WUSA, because all our wheels are built right in our shop in Orange, California. And if you want it custom made for your bike, like the world's best freestyle riders, Renner, Deegan, Adams, Madison, Mason, Sherwood, and others, you can choose different spoke and nipple colors for a completely custom look that'll dazzle you. Off-road off-road riding, WUSA can build you wheels for the absolute toughest of conditions. And W also offers DID and Excel rims, along with OEM replacement spoke and nipple kits for your stock hubs. Need brakes? W offers the industry's best oversized and standard brake kits from Galfer and Brembo. Just see your local dealer or visit us at WUSA.com. Hey, you can also download the most current W catalog from the iTunes App Store. WUSA, DUBYA USA. It doesn't get any better than us.